So in the handling characteristics, in the previous class we had discussed about the handling characteristic equation. It is described as delta, that is the steer angle required, is equal to L by R plus K into AY by G. Correct? Where delta is the steer angle, L by R is the Ackermann steering, then AY is the lateral acceleration, and G is the acceleration due to gravity, K is the understeer gradient. That is called K, or some textbook they can given it as a KU. It's understeer gradient. So this K is equal to 0, greater than 0, then less than 0. So when K is equal to 0, it is neutral steer. When K is greater than 0, it is understeer. The vehicle is said to be understeer. When the K is less than 0, the vehicle is said to be oversteer. Clear? And the lateral acceleration AY is equal to V square by R, where V square is the vehicle forward velocity and R is the radius of turn. Clear? And so this, how it comes to L by R, that also we explained in the previous class. Clear? Now we'll go for so each one it has own characteristics. When the K is there, so we discussed steer angle with respect to vehicle speed, and then the curvature response, and then directional response. Three things that we have discussed in the previous class. Correct? Now we'll go for yaw velocity gain. So first yaw velocity gain means what is meant by yaw velocity. Then we'll go for gain. So yaw velocity, it is given it as R. It is the ratio of vehicle forward velocity to the radius of turn. So what is vehicle forward velocity? V. Radius of turn is R. So this yaw velocity is defined as V by R. Then what is gain? Yaw velocity gain, G gain. We can say that G gain. G yaw. Yaw velocity gain is the ratio of yaw velocity to the steer angle. Ratio of yaw velocity to the steer angle. What is yaw velocity? V by R, that we discussed. Clear? What is steer angle? L by R plus K into AY by G. Correct? That is equal to V by R divided by L by R plus K into V square by GR. Correct? So it can be given it as, what is that one? V divided by L plus K V square by G. G yaw velocity is equal to, this is equation 13. Now for this yaw velocity gain. So this equation, it gives the yaw velocity gain with respect to the steer angle. Sir, this equation, it gives the yaw velocity gain with respect to steer angle. If they asked with respect to steering wheel angle. This is, you see the difference between steer angle and steering wheel. Steer angle is delta. Correct? Steering wheel angle. So if they asked steering wheel angle, clear? So this equation should be divided by steering gear ratio. Now this equation is for with respect to the steer angle. With respect to the steering wheel, you have to divide this equation by steering gear ratio. Clear? Now come to the handling characteristics. We say that this yaw velocity gain is this equation. Clear? Now for understeer vehicle, case 1 for understeer vehicle, what is the condition? For a neutral steer vehicle, K is equal to 0. From that equation 13, so yaw velocity gain when K is equal to 0 with respect to the velocity V over L. So this yaw velocity gain G yaw is increasing linearly with the speed. Increasing linearly with the speed. Now, second, for understeered vehicle, K is equal to greater than 0. Clear? K is greater than 0 or K is positive, here also increases. Here also increases. So what is that equation? First you write the equation. V divided by L plus K into V square by G. Correct? G. When K is greater than 1, K is greater than 1, greater than 0, what will happen? This yaw velocity gain increases with the vehicle speed, but it is less than that of the previous one. Less than that of previous one and reaches to maximum and stabilize. So increases with the speed, reaches maximum. So this maximum speed called the characteristic speed. Case 3, oversteered vehicle. When K is less than 0, what will happen? K is negative. What will happen? K is negative with respect to the vehicle speed. So it starts to decreasing, correct? It starts to decreasing at particular speed. At particular speed, the denominator in this equation is equal to 0 at particular speed, because when this reaches to equal to L value, this reaches to equal to N value, so this denominator is 0, and that case G is infinity. Clear? So the speed at which the denominator is equal to 0 is called a critical speed. Clear, sir? So these characteristics we can be draw by means of, what is that one? With respect to the vehicle speed and then G. Yaw velocity with respect to the vehicle speed with this. So actually it is not decreasing, sir, increasing. When the V is increasing, this term is increasing. So this is a negative here. So this term is reducing. So GI is increasing. Here is increasing. Clear? So for neutral steer vehicle, it is like this. For neutral steer vehicle, it is like this. For understeer vehicle, it is like this to reach maximum. For oversteered vehicle, it is goes here infinity. We will see. So this characteristics curve is here. For neutral steer vehicle, it is when K is equal to 0, GI is linearly relations with V. Here it is increasing, but it reaches to maximum at a characteristic speed. Here also it is increasing. But at particular speed, the denominator become E0, so that this one yaw velocity increases that speed at which is called a critical speed. Clear, sir? So from this graph, we observed that the oversteered vehicle, this oversteered vehicle is more sensitive than that of the neutral steer vehicle. Then the understeer vehicle is, this neutral steer vehicle is more responsive than that of the understeered vehicle. This is understeered vehicle, this is neutral steered vehicle, this is the, we'll go for the difference between, now the difference between the slip angle of the front and the rear. So we know that from equation 6, alpha f is equal to Wf divided by G into C alpha f V square by R. How we derived this one? We know. What is that one? We derived a Fyf is equal to M into B by or M into C by L into V square by R. Correct? The previous cases, sir, we discussed it by centrifugal force balance, m into c by l v square by r. So this is called the Wf by g, because this m is the W by g. So c by l is the Wf. It represents the Wf, so that we can given here. So from this equation 6 and 7, we say that alpha f is equal to Wf divided by c alpha f into v square by gr. Alpha r is equal to Wr divided by g into c alpha v square by gr. So the difference between the slip angle of the front and the rear tire is equal to, what is that one? Common term is v square by gr. Take it out. Wf divided by c alpha f, Wr divided by c alpha r. So this is called a understeer gradient. Clear? Now we will go for lateral acceleration response. Lateral acceleration response. So it is given it as g acceleration is the ratio of, what is that one? Steady state acceleration over or with steer angle. What is steady state acceleration? Lateral acceleration, ay. Steer angle is delta. So what is ay? V square by r. Correct. Divided by delta L by r plus k into v square by gr. Correct. So we can say that v square by L plus k into v square by g. Acceleration. Equation 15. Because the previous one, difference between these two, we given it is 14. So from that we can observe that, or we can say that this equation 15 is the lateral acceleration gain with respect to the steer angle. If with respect to the steering wheel angle is required, this equation 15 should be divided by steering gear ratio. Now come to the characteristics of vehicle. When first one, neutral steer vehicle, when k is equal to 0, so what will happen? Acceleration gain is increasing with the square of the vehicle speed. In the previous case, increasing with the linear. Here increasing with the square of the vehicle speed. Correct? So, and the second case, understeer. When k is greater than 0. For understeer vehicle, when k is greater than 0, what will happen? The acceleration is increasing. The acceleration, because here v square by g is there. Here v square only is there. It is increasing, but the rate is less than that of the neutral steered vehicle. Clear? And at particular speed, for example at high speed, the first term in the equation, this one is at particular high speed, the first term in the L, correct, which will be much smaller than that of k into v square by g. Clear? K into v square by g. Clear? So at particular speed, at high speed, this one it will become 1 by k. So this acceleration gain approaches this one asymptotically. Asymptotically. T-I, asymptotically. Correct. And the third one, when, what is oversteer vehicle, k is less than 0, what will happen? The acceleration gain is increasing rate. K is less than 0, negative. The acceleration gain is increasing. At particular speed, the denominator it becomes 0 because it is negative. This is fixed. Wheelbase is fixed. V is increasing. Vehicle speed. So at particular speed, these two are equal, so that the denominator becomes 0. So what will happen? Acceleration gain tends to infinity. Clear? So this behavior we given with respect to vehicle speed, g acceleration with respect to the vehicle speed. So the first case is with the square of the vehicle speed, not the linear, square of the vehicle speed. First case, second one is like this, third one is like this. So we will see. Here is when k is equal to 0, this acceleration gain is increasing with the proportional square of the vehicle speed. Here is it is increasing at particular speed. It may be approaches to g approaches to 1 by k asymptotically, and here critical speed it is increasing because the denominator is decreasing. So at particular speed denominator is equal to 0, g acceleration is equal to infinity. So that speed at which g acceleration infinity is called no doubt. Next we will go for curvature response. Curvature response is defined as steady state curvature over steer angle. Steady state curvature over steer angle. Steady state curvature is 1 by r, steer angle is delta. So we know that this curvature response 1 by r over delta is equal to 1 by r divided by L plus k v square by CR. L by r plus v square by gr, correct? So that is equal to 1 divided by L plus k into v square by g. Equation, take it is 15a. Equation, you can make it is 15a or 16. Equation 16. Now for the characteristics vehicle. Case 1. When neutral steer vehicle, k is equal to 0. So curvature response is what? Irrespective of the vehicle speed, it shows 1 by L. Constant. Clear, sir? Irrespective of the vehicle speed, this is 1 by L. Second case, understeer. K is equal to greater than 0. K is greater than 0. What will happen? K is greater than 0. Curvature response is decreasing with the vehicle speed. Clear? Because it's minus here, then positive. Then this denominator, the total one is decreasing with the vehicle speed. Clear? And third case, oversteer vehicle, k is less than 0. What will happen? K is negative. So the curvature response is increasing with the speed. K is negative, the curvature response is increasing with. We discussed the handling characteristic equation. The handling characteristic equation is depending upon the cornering stiffness. Clear? So what is that one? Handling characteristic equation, what we derived? K is equal to Wf divided by C alpha F minus Wr divided by C alpha R. Correct? So far we discussed it. However, there are number of factors, not only this one. There are number of factors which will be involved for predicting the or influencing the handling characteristics of the vehicle. So this factor which will be causing the development of lateral force. Clear? So these factors which will cause the development of lateral force in the presence of lateral acceleration. So when there is a lateral force and lateral acceleration is there, means there may be possibility of change in handling behavior of a vehicle. Clear? So if there are multiple factors, I told you multiple factor, number of factors. If any one of the factor influence the lateral force at the wheel, it will be making a direct response of the vehicle direction stability. Clear? So for example, chassis and steering system is the one example of the primary sources of the influences. Clear? First we will see the lateral load transfer effect on the cornering. Lateral loads. So here lateral load transfer during cornering. Lateral load transfer during cornering. So this lateral load transfer, it is depending upon the elevation of the center of gravity from the ground. When the vehicle is taking a turn, sir, when the vehicle is taking a turn, so when the vehicle is making a cornering, we say that Fy is the lateral load. Fy is lateral load. Fyf, Fyr, lateral load. It is depending upon the elevation of center of gravity, how much height the center of gravity which is located on the vehicle. So for a pneumatic tires, the lateral load, which is, this is the lateral load or lateral force with respect to the vertical load. So this Fz is the vertical load and Fy is the lateral load transfer. So this relationship between the Fz, wheel load, vertical load or wheel load, Fz, wheel load, and this lateral load is non-linear. It is non-linear. Clear? It is non-linear behavior. Linear behavior means it should goes like this. It is non-linear behavior. We discussed in the tire dynamics. Lateral load with respect to vertical load. It is a non-linear behavior. Suppose for a vehicle is assumed to two wheels, inner and outer wheel. Assume the vehicle of the any one of the wheel is assumed to be inner and outer wheel, each one sharing the vertical load of Fz of 800. Then Fz naught is equal to 800 pounds. 800 pounds for the both inner and the outer wheel. Now, as far as this concern, the about 760 pounds of lateral force. So here is average of 800 means inner 800, outer 800 by average 800. Sir, vertical load inner 800, outer 800, total 1600 and average of 800. Vertical load. For average of vertical load, the lateral force transfer is 760 pounds. The lateral load transfer is 760 pounds. Clear? The lateral load developed on each wheel is 760 pounds. Suppose if there is a hard steering, if there is a hard steering means there may be possibility of load transfer from one wheel to the another wheel. If there is a hard steering means the lateral load transfer is one wheel to another wheel. So in the inner wheel it goes to inner wheel, it takes 400 pounds say, and outer wheels it takes 1200 pounds. In a hard steering, inner wheel it takes 400 pounds, outer wheel it takes 1200 pounds. That is load transfer. Clear? By in this case the lateral load for this case, lateral force in this case developed is 680 pounds. Lateral force developed in this case 680 pounds. So that what will happen? The tire has to be make more slip angle. The tire has to be make more slip angle to bring the lateral force required from 680 to 760. So it has to be make more slip angle from this 680. So this one is a 5 degree. The first case is 5 degree slip angle. First case is 5 degree slip angle. Now if this lateral force developed is reduced to 680, so we have to make slip angle more to compensate the loss of lateral force, that is from 680 to the 760. So in this case the inner tires will plug out, the vehicle will be the understeer, and the rear tires will be slip out, the vehicle will be the oversteer. Clear? Now clear sir? Any doubt? For lateral load transfer, it is the relation between the lateral force and the vertical force is non-linear. Assume that the vertical force of inner and outer wheel is equal to 800 pounds. Inner and Fz of two wheels, inner and outer wheel. So this one is Fzi, Fz0. So here 800, here 800. When there is a turning, hard steering, what will happen? The load transfer of this case Fzi, Fz0, when the turn is that the lateral load will be transferred from here to here. So in this case 800 plus 400 here 800 minus 400, 800 minus 400. Clear? So in this case 1200 for the outer wheel, 400 pounds for the inner wheel. For this case, for the same nonlinear behavior, it will be producing only 680 instead of producing 760. So that the first case is for 5 degree slip angle. So to bring this 680 to 760, we have to make more steer angle. In this case, the front tires will be plug out, it is understeer. Then rear tires, it will be slip out, it is oversteer. Clear? Now we will go for roll moment. We will go for roll moment applied on the axle. Clear? So now the contribution of whether the vehicle is understeer or oversteer, it is depending upon the roll of the vehicle or roll moment of the vehicle. That is roll angle multiplied by roll stiffness, called roll moment. Sir, with respect to the longitudinal axis, the vehicle is moving, is called rolling, correct? So this rolling we can take into two cases. One is that one body and another one is axle. One is body and another one is axle. The body is called sprung mass, the axle is called unsprung mass. And this sprung mass and unsprung mass is connected through the suspension. Now this roll moment of the body. Roll moment means roll angle. How much the tilting is up and its roll stiffness is called roll moment. Clear? Now the more roll moment contribution for the front axle. Roll moment contribution for the front axle is understeer. Roll moment contribution for the rear axle is oversteer. Front axle and the rear axle oversteer. Now the lateral separation of the spring. Where is the lateral separation? From here to lateral separation of the spring. From here to here. This is called the S. Lateral separation of the spring. And assume that, what is that one? Fzi is the vertical load at the inner wheel. Fz0 is the vertical load at the outer wheel. Fyi and Fy0 is the lateral force which is transferred at the tire contact patch in this inner and outer wheel. And the height of the center of gravity is hcg, and this Fy is acting, I will tell you this one, and phi is the roll angle. Now the roll stiffness of this body is equal to roll stiffness of the body is equal to k phi. Roll stiffness of the body is equal to 0.5 into ks into s square, where s is the vertical separation of spring or distance between two springs. Ks is the wheel rate or roll rate. This is called Ks is called roll rate. Ks is called roll rate. So no need of any equation. Now for independent suspension, this is for solid. We will see in the suspension system, this is for the solid axle suspension system. K phi is equal to Ks into S square. For independent suspension system, the Ks has to be replaced with rate of wheel. Ks has to be replaced with rate of wheel, and S has to be replaced with tread. Tread means here, tread T. This wheel track, tire tread T, not T, tire tread. In the case of stabilizer bar, in the case of stabilizer bar, we can be used, add the roll stiffness of the bar, K phi of bar. Clear? Now come to here. There is one more point, is called roll center. Now when you are taking a cornering, the lateral force is acting at tire contact patch. Clear? The lateral force, when you are taking cornering, the lateral force is acting at a tire contact patch. This lateral force, where it will go? To the body. axle is sprung mass, unsprung mass, body is sprung mass. The lateral force from the sprung mass to unsprung mass passing through one point. That point is called the roll center. Clear? The point where the lateral forces are transferred from the axle to the sprung mass, or transferred from the unsprung mass to the sprung mass. So, in addition to this Fy, in addition to the Fy, there may be, in addition to the Fz, there may be Fy is also acting on the vehicle, and so the body it will be tries to roll. So that is proportional to the roll torque. That is imposes a roll torque. That is equal to K phi into phi. So K phi is a roll stiffness, phi is a roll angle. Again there is a roll torque. It will be imposing into the body. Now when you are taking moments with respect to the rear axle, so what can we say? Fzi into T. Taking moments with respect to rear axle. Now, taking moments with respect to is a rear wheel, outer wheel. So we can say that Fzi into T plus Fy into HR plus that roll torque plus K phi into phi equal to 0. Now Fzi is equal to minus 1 by T of Fy into HR plus K phi into phi. Similarly, taking moments with respect to the inner wheel, Fz naught into T minus Fy into HR minus K phi into phi equal to 0. Fz naught into T minus Fy into HR, this is negative, and minus K phi into phi equal to 0. We can say that Fz naught is equal to 1 by T of Fy into HR plus K phi into phi. Clear? Now the difference between the load, the difference between the vertical load on the inner and outer and inner wheel, Fz naught minus Fzi is equal to 2 by T of Fy into HR plus K phi into phi. Correct? So that is equal to 2 into Fy HR by T plus 2 into K phi by T. This is equation 17. Clear? This is equation 17. Now we will come this equation. 2 into Fy into HR by T plus 2 into K phi into phi divided by T is equal to 2 into delta Z. Because this one is called delta Z. Delta Z is equal to what? Mean. Delta Fz is equal to, in the previous case we discussed, delta Fz is equal to this one minus this one divided by 2. So that is equal to 2 into the Fz. Now this contains two terms. This contains two mechanism of load transfer. This contains two mechanism of load transfer. Two mechanism of load transfer. One is the the load transfer is depending upon first term 2 Fy HR by T. The first term is 2 Fy HR by T is, what is Fy? lateral force or cornering force or side force, correct? Lateral force or cornering force or side force is called Fy, clear? And so this, the first term, it's depending upon the cornering force on the vehicle or lateral force on the vehicle. So this is due to the lateral force imposed on the vehicle, and it is instantaneous effect. It is instant effect, and it is independent of roll angle. Whatever we are saying roll, the first term is independent of roll. The second one, what is that one? 2 into K phi into phi by T. So this one due to vehicle roll. This is due to vehicle roll, and it's depending upon the roll dynamics. It is depending upon, because K phi into phi is there. K phi is the roll stiffness, phi is the roll angle. It should be depending upon. So it is directly depending upon the front and rear axle roll moment distribution. It is directly depending upon the front and the rear roll moment.
Subscribe to our channel, like if you're satisfied, and share because it may useful to someone.